To discuss this and more, I'm joined by distinguished professor at Touro University, Thane Rosenbaum. Also with us, civil litigator and constitutional lawyer, Bruce Del Valle. Thank you guys for being with us. Thane, I'll start off with you first. Is this unethical? I mean, what happens to a Supreme Court justice if she's profiting from her position?
Lydia, there are no rules for the Supreme Court. That's the thing. The other government agencies have caps and ethics and ground rules and binding codes of ethics. The Supreme Court has always saw itself as independent. It prides itself on its judicial independence. It doesn't even follow the same ethics codes that other federal judges follow. They have their own set of rules, and they're completely unaccountable. They believe in judicial review of other government entities. They don't love the idea of the review of the court system itself under their auspices. So I don't know. When it came to conservatives, we saw lavish trips on yachts and jet planes. I don't know if that's any worse than having one of your clerks or staff members pushing universities to buy more of your books. Now, they do cap themselves at $30,000 additional income. But guess what, Lydia? That doesn't apply to books. So books are completely, the sky is the limit. So they make $285,000. They get a $30,000 bump if they want to take some speaking fees. And books, there's no rules on that. They can go to the limit on that.
Money train there. Now, Bruce, the media, of course, the left-wing media is barely covering this, but it consistently attacks conservative justices like Alito and Thomas for ethics accusations. I want you to take a listen to their outrage about Justice Thomas recently and then get your response.
Some of what we're reading about in terms of Judge Thomas is really quite outrageous, and I think it needs to be investigated.
By the Department of Justice?
Yes, right.
It's unheard of at the Supreme Court. This ProPublica report really detailing these lavish trips that Justice Clarence Thomas took and that were paid for by this mega donor.
And it is the House's responsibility to pursue that investigation in the form of impeachment.
So you hear the left talking about impeaching him, and meanwhile, her staff, her taxpayer staff, is forcing people to buy her books, and she's now a multimillionaire.
Well, I think the difference is that they're out pimping her book. They're trying to enrich her. It's a side business. It's a side hustle for her. She has a cottage industry that happens to give her something upwards of $3.7 million a year and uses federal government employees to help her with that side hustle. I think that is an absolute outrage when compared to taking trips with friends to go on fishing trips or hunting trips, which the justices have always done. I was a federal law clerk. I've known a number of Supreme Court clerks that would go on trips with their judges, with their friends. That's not the same as running a side business. The other thing that is, I think, equally outrageous, not illegal, as Thane adroitly pointed out, is that she refused to recuse herself in a number of cases that involved Random House Penguin. Breyer,
which is her publisher.
Yes, Justice Breyer recused himself because it's his publisher.
Yeah.
But Justice Breyer didn't make $3.7 million because he didn't use his staff as a de facto psyop on how to sell more books. What if she were selling cars? What if she were selling land or houses? It's just an outrage. And of course, the liberal media goes, it's okay. The answer to this, Lydia, is not pointing your fingers in a different direction. It's to come to some ethical rules for the court. And I think the court will accept that.
Absolutely. We got to leave it right there. Thane Rosenbaum and Bruce Del Valle, thank you guys.
Thank you both.